Hey, so I just made a tweet on Twitter. I guess that's the only place you can tweet. And I want to call Tyler Bluntman's attention to that, because I know he's always arguing about abortion. He does a pretty good job of it. He makes some pretty good arguments, so I'm not really calling him out on his arguments or his position. But I do want to bring up one important issue that I think most people miss, and that's the abortion debate is not so much about whether it's okay to kill a baby human. If you ask most pro-choicers if murder is okay, they will say no. The problem is that fundamentally they don't believe that that is a human being, or they don't believe that that is a life. Yet, that's where the fundamental debate is. And most of that comes from not just a belief in science, or when there's a heartbeat, or when there's a thought, or anything like that, because all of that's subjective, right? You can say life begins when there's a heartbeat, and you can't really prove or disprove that. Life, the egg is already life. The sperm is already life. Before they combine, it's already life. It's a form of life, whether or not it's a human being, or, that sort of thing, or viable, or all these words that are thrown around are subjective. And so these all come down to people's points of view, and it's all arbitrary. Whenever you say life begins, that's arbitrary. There's really no proof to that, because life doesn't really begin. It doesn't really end. It's perpetual. We as an entire species are one perpetual loop of life. We're all connected. But what's more important is when somebody says it's okay to abort that, what they're basically saying is, I don't identify as that. I don't see myself as that, and that's not human. Because there's a bit of empathy at play there, right? How do you convince an army to invade another country and kill a bunch of human beings? Adult human beings. Aborting human beings. Adults. How do you do that? You convince your army that the other army is not human. We saw this with slavery. How were human beings able to capture other human beings, take them from their homes, force them to work? They saw them as less than human. How were one group of human beings in World War II able to round up an entire people of an entire religion, put them into camps, and kill them all? By convincing everybody they were less than human. How did we go to war with Afghanistan and Islam? By convincing America that everybody there was less than human. How did we convince half of America to want to build a wall and go to war with Mexico over immigration? We convinced them that Mexicans were less than human. Rapists and murderers. This is systematic, and when you do this, it's easier to justify killing something. So, I'm not taking a position on when life begins or whether or not abortion is right. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to redirect the attention to the actual root cause, because we can argue where life, quote-unquote, begins all day. There's no right answer to that. There is no right answer, because life doesn't begin. It's already there. It already began. It's just continuing. It's just continuing over and over and over again. So, the main issue is whether or not we identify with the things that we're killing. And that in itself is a much bigger issue, because we're doing that in many more ways than just with abortion. We're doing that with war. We're doing that with immigration policy. We're doing that with economic policy. That affects so much in our lives, and this comes back down to our tribalism. If we identify with a certain group of people, well, screw that other group, as long as I'm sticking with my group. And that's fine to a point, to put your family ahead of others, especially when times are tough, survival of the fittest. You're not going to sacrifice your own family to save someone else's family. That's understandable. But we've overcome, as human beings, so many of the challenges in this world with our advancement in technology that there's really not much reason to compete like that. And sure, it seems like there is a lot of reason to compete like that because of all the economic troubles and everything that always arise. But we have to recognize that those are man-made problems created by people who have a lot of power, who see all of us as less than human. So we need to think about that, and we need to think about, why do we make decisions the way we make them? What do we see ourselves as? And why do we see ourselves as different than other people or different than other forms of life? Because we're all connected to everything. All right, Blunt Man, what do you have to say about that? I'll catch you guys later. Taxation is theft.